What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, and it's the opening day of the Pennsylvania rifle bear season. And I'm here in north central Pennsylvania where I live, going hunting. We had a lot of rain this morning, so I wasn't able to go hunting this morning, but I don't really think it really matters because it doesn't look like there's any hunters out here. Usually you'll see lots and lots of trucks here on the side of the road. Even at the bear check station, there weren't a whole lot of vehicles. I mean, there were like torrential rains this morning, and it is unusually warm for this time of year. This is the warmest bear season so far for me in Pennsylvania. Usually this time of year, it's already winter. You know, there's usually snow on the ground by now, and it's usually like 20s or 30s. It's right now in the upper 40s, and the sun just came out. It's actually really beautiful today. So I'm just hunting the second half of the day here, just right before sunset, which is a good time to be in the woods to catch a bear moving around. They like to move right before sunset. You know, bears are crepuscular creatures, which means they're active most at sunrise and sunset. I'm going to a spot that I hunted last year where I saw a lot of bear tracks last year, and on my camera I saw multiple bears on my camera. So I'm going to be going over there. I got actually my 300 Win Mag with me today. I actually usually don't hunt bear with my 300 Win Mag, but it's a little bit lighter than my 338 Lapua or my 375 Ruger, and I may want to do some more hiking because the weather's nice, kind of explore around a little more. So I took my Win Mag because it's a little bit lighter, a couple pounds lighter than the Lapua or the Ruger, and it's, you know, good for long range. So that's what I'm going to be hunting with. Got some hand loads, 175 grain Barnes LRX hand loads. We got some hunters over here. Check it out. These guys over there. So for those of you guys who are not aware, in Pennsylvania, like many states now, you gotta wear orange. It's mandated now. So you gotta have orange on your torso, visible 360 degrees, and then you gotta have an orange hat. That's the requirements in PA for bear, deer, and elk hunting with rifle. That's mostly just for big game. If you're hunting like predators and stuff, it doesn't really matter. But just a beautiful day today. Couldn't ask for better weather. It's supposed to be nice tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday, which are the 4 days of the rifle bear season here in PA, the general season. And then there's certain parts of PA where they have an extended season that lasts another week or two, but the season's really short here. It's literally only 4 days, which I'm not a fan of, but what are you gonna do? So just saw a couple of hunting parties here, about 4 trucks just leaving the area. These guys were probably hunting this morning and maybe they're going home now, I don't know. But the way a lot of people hunt bear in Pennsylvania, it's kind of a Pennsylvania thing. Not many other places do this to the extent that they do in PA. It's just massive drives. So they set up what's known as a bear crew, and it's usually up to like 25 guys. By law you can have up to 25 people. Can't go more than 25. That's according to the game law. And you basically just try to drive the bears out of thick brush. There's a lot of like dense mountain laurel patches here in PA. The state flower is the mountain laurel. So you can get into areas where it's just miles and miles of mountain laurel. And if you've never seen patches of mountain laurel if you're not from PA or states where there's mountain laurel. That stuff is really thick. I mean, it's thicker than any jungle you can imagine. It's just super thick, impassable. Here we got some hunters driving. Got some guys coming. But it's just impassable. It's worse than anything you can imagine. You literally cannot walk through that stuff. I mean, it's just like a wall of just brush, you know. And so what the bear crews will do is these guys will come, 20 guys, you know, and they'll spread out, let's say 200 yards apart or 100 yards apart, and they'll just push through that mountain laurel and try to flush out any bears that are in there. And then they'll designate usually 1 or 2 shooters. So that's how they hunt here. Hunting solo, like the way I hunt, it's difficult because bears wander all over the place, and they're, you know, not as many bears as deer, so it's harder to see them in general. And a lot of times they're nocturnal, so guys that have the bear crews and do the bear drives, they're more likely to be successful. Got a lot more guys here, so guess I was wrong. Looks like there's a lot of hunters here. I mean, I guess with the nice weather, that's what you'd expect. It's not a bad thing, because what happens is all these guys in the woods, they push the bears out. You know, they're wandering around and they kind of push the bears out, get them to move a little bit more chance that you could see one. But it can also be bad because obviously the bears may become nocturnal or really just disappear into some really impenetrable mountain laurels, you know, where you're never gonna find them. But that's how hunting's done here in PA. Check this out, guys. This huge tree fell over here. And this is why I always carry a chainsaw with me when I go off-road, because a tree like this can block the road and you're not going to be able to get through. I also keep a chain so I can drag logs out of my way. Someone came and cut it, but you never know. So I always carry a chainsaw if I'm going deep in the woods. But one of the gripes I have about Pennsylvania with their hunting seasons is, first of all, the Game Commission is very slow to change, you know. And I don't know why, but the Board of Commissioners, they're just really resistant to any kind of radical changes. They like to stick to like old 100-year-old, you know, season timing and all kinds of different laws. They stick to the 100-year-old laws. And for example, the stupid thing they do here is that right now we have our bear season, and then next weekend, a week from today, is the opening day of the deer season. So the problem with that is you have all these guys doing these massive bear drives. As you can see, all these trucks parked everywhere, and these guys are wandering all over the woods, making noise, leaving their scent. You know, they're not just flushing out bear, they're flushing the deer out. And the deer, they know that all these guys are in the woods, and they know it's that time of year, it's hunting season, so then they completely go nocturnal. And when deer season opens up, you're never gonna see the deer, because a week prior, everybody was out bear hunting, you know. And PA is like one of the few states in the East that does that. It's really stupid. And they also have the bear season so late, and many times, like past couple years, you know, it gets so cold this time of year. I mean, this is an unusually warm year. I mean, typically there's snow on the ground, it's cold, and the bears many times will already start denning up, and then it just becomes impossible to see anything. So, you know, if the game commission's listening right now, you got to change your season. You can't have all these bear hunters in the woods a week before deer season. It's really stupid. Plus, this year they gave out like over 5 doe permits, or even more. I think up to like 8 doe permits. You know, they're giving out doe permits left and right, but why not start the season earlier? They always open the season so late, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's usually freezing cold by then. It's basically December. It's early December, you know. And you're expecting people to go into the woods and hunt, you know, 2 days after Thanksgiving, after everybody's with family. People are busy with family, and they just don't have the time to go hunt because they're with family. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and plus it's very, very cold. A lot of older hunters don't want to hunt in those kinds of cold, extreme cold conditions. You know, they should start the deer season earlier in PA, like first weekend of November, not the last weekend of November. You know, if PA was, you know, like Alabama, you know, where it's warm still all the way through December, I wouldn't care. But you're basically keeping a lot of people out of the woods because it's so cold, and a lot of guys don't want to they don't want to go trudge through knee-deep snow. You know, like last year, my dad, who's, you know, 71, and you know, he survived cancer. He's not gonna, you know, after last season, he doesn't even want to hunt this year unless, you know, there's no snow, because it was so brutally cold when we were hunting. Opening day was like 17 degrees with like probably -20 wind chills. So they got to do something, because they're losing hunters here, and it's unfortunate because PA has the most deer hunters per square mile in the country. Here we have a party, a bear crew. So they're probably walking up and down here. Oh, they're coming back. Lots of guys out today. So there's still a lot of hunters participating in the Pennsylvania rifle bear season, but in general, the number of hunters is dropping every year all over the country. It's just a dying tradition, unfortunately. Less and less hunters every year. That's why the Game Commission here in PA has to be more flexible and not be so rigid. You know, it took them like 3 or 4 years to start Sunday hunting. It's just like Pennsylvania is one of the last states that still doesn't fully allow Sunday hunting. A lot of people are upset about that because, you know, it reduces the amount of days you can hunt. And you know, the Game Commission's got to be more flexible because times are changing. Hunting is slowly fading. Less and less people hunt every year, and the remaining hunters, you know, need to have more opportunities to be in the woods if you're expecting them to harvest the same amount as in prior years and reach management goals. You know, you can't have just a 4-day bear season, you know, and have a 2-month archery season. That's what they have: 2 months of archery and 4 days of rifle. I mean, how stupid is that? But it's from all the rain, the ground is so soft. Look at that rut. Really caked up the mud there. So we're gonna head down this oil pipeline. Already spoke to a guy who said he's heading down in that direction now. There's quite a few people here. Sun's going down in probably about 2 hours. It's the warmest bear season I've hunted in probably 20 years. I can't remember the last time it's been this warm. I mean, it's not like warm, but it's in the 40s, which is warm. Got my Glock 20, the Extendo. Always carry my shooting sticks in case I gotta take a shot. Some guys there in the woods. It's a popular spot. Alright guys, just overwatching this pipeline here. That's what the area looks like. It's natural gas pipeline. Just looking to the left and to the right. There's a good couple of hunters here nearby, so we'll see what happens, but it's a good spot here. My dope card here. It's about 400 to 500 yards down there. I'm comfortable taking a shot up to 500 yards. I shoot to 500 yards all the time, every week. Multiple rifles, so very comfortable doing that. Super still today, not a single gust of wind at all. Look how still the branches are. Beautiful blue sky, check that out. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow and warm. There's a lot of hunters here today. Guys, this tripod is a must-have. Look, it swings around. Really lightweight. It's a must-have if you're going to do any kind of long-range hunting beyond, 200 yards. The sun is going down. Probably got about 30 minutes of shooting left. Look at the sunset. So, I didn't hear any shots around me. Just beautiful day though. Sky finally cleared out. Alright guys, so unfortunately I didn't see any bear and I didn't hear any shots either, which is pretty unusual, especially right before sunset. You usually hear a bunch of shots, at least off in the distance. I didn't hear anything, so it tells me there's either not as many hunters this year in the area or there's not as many bear. And I just looked at the harvest, the real-time harvest tracker, and it appears to be pretty low for the opening day. I think the total harvest is up to like 1,500 bear so far. And then really the next 2-3 days the harvest drops tremendously because tomorrow's Sunday, so most people are going to church and maybe going back home if they're from out of the area. And then Monday, Tuesday, most people don't take days off to hunt bear. And then there's some extended seasons in some areas of the state, but they usually don't amount to a lot of bear harvest. So it looks like it might be another low harvest this year, just like last year, which I blame the Game Commission for, because they have a 2-month archery season, they have a senior season, and then at the very end of all that, they have 4 days for rifle season. It's just ridiculous in my opinion. And the problem with having such a late or early archery season is that a lot of the bow hunters are killing pregnant females, which has a much bigger effect on the population, obviously. So that's really harming the population, and having this late rifle season, it's very difficult to be successful unless you're really in the right place. I mean, even with lots and lots of scouting, I scout this area like crazy throughout the year. I have cameras and everything, and the population is just not as dense as it was a couple of years ago. It's because of the long bow seasons, too long, killing off the females. But still a lot of guys coming out of the woods. Got someone here. All these trucks are gone. Might stop by the bear check station, see what's going on over there. Just going down some back roads in the area here to see how many other hunters are still out there, just to see how many guys made it to the woods today. Kind of just doing like a survey, just for curiosity. See how many people are still out or should be coming back now. Bigfoot country right here. We're at the bear check station. Good amount of vehicles here. Let's see what kind of bears were harvested. A couple trucks waiting over there to get checked out. They have biologists that take samples and look at the bears.
That's a big day.
And I don't know.
So that's pretty much it, guys. Opening day, Pennsylvania bear season 2025. If you saw the numbers at the check station, most of the bears were quite small. There were even a few small, like cubs, like older cubs. I think the smallest one was like 57 pounds, but most of them were like 100 to 200 pounds. Pennsylvania doesn't have any laws against shooting cubs, even though a lot of states do, but there were a lot of small bears. Just one big one, 326 pounds. I'll have to come back the next time I get out, which will either be tomorrow or Monday. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Check out my hunting playlist for all my hunting videos, and stay tuned for more Pennsylvania bear and deer season 2025. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.